Chat, here we go. It's AJ versus Chronic again. We actually had this matchup previously a couple days ago. AJ was able to take it down, but now it's in the context of a tournament. We are in the Fear Fest Junior. I forgot to show you the bracket as we started, but we had apparently Jack versus Wiz over on the other side of the bracket, and now it's AJ versus Chronic. $1,000 winner take all if you're able to win this double elimination bracket. And we will see if AJ can repeat what he did previously. There's a lot of context to this game because, if you guys remember last time, the series score, or what am I trying to think? The lifetime series score between Chronic and AJ was 4-3 in favor of Chronic. This was before they played recently. But they played recently and AJ won to tie it back up 4-4. Lifetime series record between the two. So this match right now is to retake the edge if you're Chronic. Or I think AJ's had the edge at one point too. So both of them retaking it. Whoever wins will be the better 1v1er. AJ is going to 50 this to make it 2-0. Jack waiting for them in the upper finals. We will play that game today as well. So whoever wins will have another match. Chronic and Defenic. I've watched his YouTube. I can't say I watched a ton of his YouTube, but I've watched a ton of his YouTube thumbnails. And I've seen him go back and forth between the Octane and the Fennec. AJ, though, is just absolutely running it up here early. Chronic on the board. When I was trying to set up matches just a couple days ago, it was actually the reason why I ended up making both this tournament and the EU version, is because I was wanting to get maybe AJ versus apparently Jack, get, you know, some of these top matchups, see if we could get First Killer involved. And I thought, you know what if we just did a quick little tournament? See which one of these guys is playing the best right now. That's how we, or I should say we, but it was just me, came up with the idea for the tournament. Unfortunately, First Killer did have to drop, but you never know, Wiz might make a spark in the lower bracket. WTF, there was 30 minutes on the poll. Somebody in chat was like, saw the poll was 30 minutes and was like, oh, wait a second. I'm going to wait until the last second. I'm going to wait until basically the match is over. Then I'm going to dump all my points in whoever won. Come on. It's not going to be that easy. Chronic. A second goal on the board. Why isn't Zen or Wasp playing? I think both of them are not really playing ones right now. I think they're both locked in, maybe focused on the upcoming Worlds. I think there's always kind of a bit more pressure on the best players in the game. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but the ones players who either have the title or can very realistically play for the title of best in the world, I think a little bit of extra weight almost gets added to every match they play, whether they want it to or not, whether it's a casual show match or tournament. And I feel like that sometimes leads to them maybe playing a little bit less often because they want to be sure that they can play their best. They want to be focused on it. They want to do their best to win. And I don't blame them. Chronic, after threatening some demos, to be within 2, except for Moxie. Great point. Great point. Moxie can be the best in the world or get, be close to being best in the world, and that guy will rip 6 show matches straight on away servers while live. He'll play any match he ever gets asked to play. But I think he's an exception to the rule. Because we all know that, if Rawas or Zen ended up playing a tournament where they weren't really feeling ones, hadn't really practiced, picked up a couple quick losses to people, they wouldn't have expected to lose to, then everyone will be like, they're the worst. I take it all back. They were never good in the first place. Chronic, nice save. Should be able to get a 4th goal. He's stuck around in this game. I think The other thing that we should do, though, as a community, is be willing to accept a long break as a reason to remove the title of, you know, like best in the world, like the community gives. Because what we don't want to see as fans is somebody, you know, becoming the best and then never, ever, ever playing again. Oh, what a save from Chronic. Absolutely unreal. Respawn and save. Yeah, AJ throwing the nice one. I think we should reward the people who do want to actively play. That's just my take on it. But I don't think Zen or Rawas, either of them have been, you know, inactive enough to entertain that yet. So it's not like that's anywhere near soon. But if both decided to quit the game, then yeah, it would time to start switching towards some other players. Chronic, nice flick. He's been playing from behind this entire game, but he has never been out of it. What are your top 3 goals in one show matches? That's tough. I'd have to think about that. I probably have a top 3 matches, you know, much easier, but a goal in each match, that's kind of a tough ask. Chronic, now fully tied. Collecting the ball, midfield. Flicking over the top of AJ. Don't need to lead at any moment during the game, except when the clock hits 0. AJ not quite able to punish on a kickoff possession. Chronic trying to keep the ball in his own half, but that's just going to get a demo. And oh, AJ, he needed this opportunity bad. And now he tried to milk it, so it might even get him scored on. Because Chronic going the other way, gets a demo. Yeah, it was a bad position that AJ was in. Wow. I mean, it all comes down. AJ got his demo, got the ball. If he had been a bit more careful, he could have put it on target and converted on it. And you could see the double jump at low boost is like a desperation. Like, wait, I should have scored this. I have to try and go score it right now. And it doesn't connect and allows Chronic to just take the ball and score the other way. 18 seconds. Chronic does not want to chip the ball to AJ. AJ, though, has done a good job to grab possession. I don't know how he's going to try and make this first touch work, though. First touch just way too strong. Now he doesn't have the boost to work with. Chronic just wants to hover on the ball. He knows as long as he's touching the ball, then AJ cannot really take it away and score quickly. So AJ's going to restart his game. Chronic steals game 1 after trailing the entire time in the final seconds. Game number 2. Who do you guys have as your top 5 mechanical players worldwide? That's what Earth Lungs wants to know. Yo, Tone, thank you for the Prime. I'm not sure. I think Zen is one of the easiest ones to put at, you know, either number 1 or somewhere in the 5. John Salmon, Rizzo, Musty, Sunless, Feer. Got it. No, there it is. That's the list. Nobody needs to think about it any longer. Zen, Nupo, Yan, Daniel, First Killer. Not a bad list. AJ pulling back off this touch in order to not push that Chronic. Wait, I thought that was going to be a second chance. I thought AJ was going to start the urgible bump, hit Chronic, and then Chronic was going to be able to stay in the air and maybe even try and get the save again. Oh, but he didn't start boosting fast enough. I think if he boosted all the way through the bump, he maybe could. First Killer isn't that mechanical, is he? Yeah, I would say he is. First Killer is very precise, very controlled, and very speedy. he's actually a great example, I feel like, to use to try and explain to people what you mean by mechanical when you don't just mean he can get 5 consecutive flip resets. Ooh, nice flip by Chronic. Seeing the early challenge by AJ. Because there's definitely people that are thought of as, you know, top mechanical players for that kind of reason. But if you threw somebody in a training pack and they slotted 99 out of 100 shots top left perfectly because they just have, you know, exact control of their car, like, that is also being mechanical in probably a more useful way. That's why I don't have an answer immediately for top 5 most mechanical. AJ not really getting anything out of that reset as he falls to the ground. So Chronic is taken into the lead. Lead that he only saw at the very end of game number 1. Chronic trying to play keep away from AJ's challenge, maybe. Takes it a bit too far. He slams one off the post. AJ definitely was not close to taking it away from him, though. Now Chronic. The double reset off the ceiling. Top left! Chronic! How about Chronic is most mechanical? Who's got Chronic in there? Did that touch the ceiling as well? Did he sandwich reset? As I like to call it. Where you squeeze the ball into the ceiling in the process of getting the reset. Not me. Yeah, no, I think... Thank you, Chauber Fiend, for letting us know not you. So anybody in chat who had Chauber Fiend in their list, just know that if you ask Chauber Fiend himself or herself, they'll tell you no, not them. AJ dropping this one down. Following up a kickoff goal to retie the game. Wave dash kickoff for AJ. I don't even think he got the wave dash from it, though. Chronic wall to air dribble. That is something that this channel has seen many, many times. I'm not sure the channel's seen anything more than maybe Daniel wall to air dribbles from the midfield. Chronic's been around for a long time. We've been following him since he was playing on the randoms. Ooh, the psycho in the 1v1 game. AJ got a pretty decent one. Happy to see Chronic having so much success in the Rocket League world nowadays, not just with Gen G, but on YouTube, and seems to be having a lot of fun. Great to see, you know? Chronic camped in net, able to get the first save, but actually almost left too far out. Gave AJ the opportunity to take the lead. AJ on a near back wall dribble should not be using up too much boost, and he knows it. He decides to just save it for the long haul of this possession. He has a much better chance now. Tries to go slow and does a good job of playing keep away. Chronic cannot time his save. AJ gives the ball just a little bit of extra height, as well as almost slowed it down a little bit. So Chronic in and out of the nets. Cannot intercept it. Which do you think is more important in ones, mechanics or game sense? There was a time where it felt like the game sense was almost like everything. And I'm thinking of like the Khaled era, you know? I think Khaled obviously had some very solid mechanics, but he was using a lot of, you know, relatively easy mechanics to learn while dominating. It's just off of like really smart challenging and his bounce dribbles. And then there became the era where if you weren't mechanical, you weren't the best. You just couldn't hang with the top 1v1 players. So I think it's shifted over time. AJ is just going to hold on to the ball, secure the tied series. Game number 3. We knew this would be a close matchup, and it is. And it was last time too. AJ actually pulled away in this same situation. Got 2 straight after being tied 1-1 in order to finish it off. Will he be able to do it again? Do I think Flakes can still hang with the top dogs? I think we had a bit of a case study with that recently. Chronic, what a shot, dude. Chronic has always been so pure. And how about this? Let's go for another top 5 list. Top 5 list of players you least want to see win a kickoff into a wall to air dribble. The kickoff just got won. It's rolling into a side wall to air dribble. Who do you least want to see coming at you? Chronic is up there, man. I mean, North America used to just farm that. Yeah, Zen is obviously up there too, right? Zen's on every list. Zen is the Wilt of Rocket League right now. We get it. Zen's on every list. Maybe we should just do top 4 and assume that Zen is on the list. Chronic. I had to watch that from Chronic's perspective to see what he was looking for. But I think North America specifically played their ones this way a lot more than EU ever did. For a while, all the top North Americans were playing via the wall to air dribble kickoff win. Just control it to the wall and then convert on basically every dribble. Chronic's going to try an air dribble bump. It's going to work. So I think North America is actually better at it than EU. Not a lot of things North America is better at than EU. Than EU. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say there, but you know what I mean. There's a chance I would put AJ, Chronic, and Daniel all on my list. Chronic's definitely on there. Daniel's definitely on there. AJ is trying to help prove my point right now. And just realize that ultimately, overall, I do think NA is 3rd in ones behind EU and Mina. But in specifically wall to air dribbles, that is what North America farms, even to their slight detriment. Nice play by AJ. AJ out of the back corner sends this one to the ceiling and then just catches and cuts it behind. I mean, such good control by AJ. Listen, chat. As a North American myself, I feel like I'm fair. I do a good job when it comes to comparing regions, being unbiased. I do like to joke on occasion just because I think it's funny. You know, I have to represent NA when it comes to memeing. So during all memes, I have to be fully NA favored. But I do think I have a pretty good read on what regions are better in Rocket League. AJ, I want to see if he had a chance here. Unfortunately, he's going to be forced to watch it again, but I feel like his zap dash... Dude, that would have been insane. Like, you see how much movement he got on that zap dash? That was like a really, really impressive... If he had actually been able to save it, ball just a little bit slower, that would have been insane. But, yeah, as I was saying, I think I have a pretty good read. And Chronic is just one of the best attackers from the wall to air dribble in these one scenarios. Ceiling reset. AJ thought about the challenge high, but Chronic just goes to the ground and gets that pogo type shot low. Moxie is slept on. You think Moxie is specifically really good at those wall to... he doesn't take them. He certainly doesn't take them like Chronic does, where you'll never see him pass up an opportunity. I feel like there are players who will pass it up, and certainly those players can't be on the list, right? Just out of principle. AJ air dribble bump. Chronic demoed. So it's an easy tap in for AJ, as these two have not been able to pull away from each other. Joreus could be on the list. That's a good EU shout, I feel like, for a very solid wall to air dribble. But North America's was always much more like a set piece. I don't know if I'm doing a great job of explaining this. Joreus is kind of a free-form air dribble type player who takes them at any random moments on the map. Whereas North America, there's definitely an era where it's even more so than it is now. We're almost just like set play air dribbles from the midfield boost. Like that same situation just comes up so much more often when North Americans are playing, it seems like. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you disagree. AJ, can he find an angle there? He can. Wow, we talked about nobody being able to pull away. It's a super high-scoring game as we're at 8-5 halfway through. AJ right now is able to string a few consecutive goals, and that was an impossible angle to hit. AJ, what a nice play. He collects the ball here in the back corner. Chronic has everything near the net covered, so AJ's first touch is out and away from the net in order to basically go around Chronic's setup, and then air dribbles it underneath the crossbar. Really impressive play. He's been able to string a few of those in a row, so a 4-goal lead for him. He wants a pinch! It's way too high. So now, Chronic, he's been going for these air dribble bumps. Those have been the two things working for him. I feel like almost every single goal has been either an air dribble bump or one of those kickoff wins to a wall-to-air dribble setup. Am I going to have a Chronic one day? I think I've had a Chronic before. I think I've had one match with a Chronic, I want to say. But yeah, I'd be down to have a Chronic. Are you saying that because you want Chronic to play a Chronic when they're maybe both at Worlds? You would like a Chronic as well. Stop it with that. Save that for when we finally have Chronic versus a Chronic. Game is slowed down here a little bit after a scoring barrage from AJ to break the back and forth. Now he's falling down the reverse wave dash and then tries to get back up to demo Chronic. Wasn't able to connect. Now he's playing a bit of keep away as Chronic is stuck on low boost, undercutting him here across the net. Can steal the midfield as well. Chronic has followed him. AJ is deciding to take one of these set pieces that I'm talking about that just seem to happen more often for North Americans. AJ leans back and gets the reset in order to pop it over. It's a really slow attack. Chronic was trying to pre-jump as if AJ was going to go at the net, but AJ did not move at all, and that made Chronic's pre-jump useless. He has to fall and float down to the ground at some point, and AJ decides to use his flip then and tap it over the top of him. It's a slow-moving play, but it's a very smart play to pick apart the defense. Chronic all the way from his own back corner has a reset to finish it and cannot connect. So it is going to be AJ. Chronic does not want to wait the next 26 seconds, so we're going to rob AJ of his goal. 10-6. AJ wins game number 3. Can he repeat the 3-1 victory from under a week ago? What was the event where if someone beat all your 1v1 champions, they won a lot of money and no one got past Chronic? Or was it Drees? That was the Feer 5. So my mod who's been around here for a long time asking about a previous tournament I ran, which was called the Feer 5, which I don't think AJ played in. Chronic did though. And what that was as I was on the come up in Rocket League, it's a great save, says AJ. I thought it was just a nice pre-jump. I have to go back and look. You guys got me distracted with the tournament, to be honest. But there was a tournament where the top 5 players in terms of games played on my stream, not necessarily like win percentage or anything, just who had ever played the most, were set up in a gauntlet, and challengers had to try and beat them. The point of the tournament being that the players playing on my stream are very good. And, you know, I was trying to make the argument that they were the best and they were going to be very hard to beat. And that included Daniel, Sharp, Gino, Drees, and did I say Chronic? Chronic, Daniel, Drees, Sharp, Gino. Those were the 5. And so they were set up in a gauntlet in the order of, you know, difficulty to beat them, which I believe was Gino, Sharp, Chronic, Drees, Daniel at the time. Drees getting the edge over Chronic. There was probably a very brief moment where that is a reasonable thing to do. But Chronic held just about everybody back. He stopped almost everyone. And there was like 8 challengers that did it. And actually, AJ might have been one of them. But Chronic stopped them all. The only one that he didn't stop, believe it or not, was actually Wiz, who played in this tournament earlier. Wiz beat Chronic and then lost immediately to Drees. But nobody made it to Daniel. Nobody made it to Daniel, who was waiting at the top. So at the end of the tournament, Daniel ran the gauntlet because he never got to play a match. And Daniel successfully ran the gauntlet. That was actually, I believe, the tournament that was played right before Daniel's humongous streak of like 25, 26 win games in the stream where he won 7 or 8 times straight. That was after the Feer 5. So there you go. A little bit of lore. Courtesy of the prompts from the mod. Somebody asked me recently if I would do it again. And the problem with that is that while I was trying in the past to make an argument that players playing on my stream were very good, I knew there was at least people who could, in theory, beat them. Where I don't think that's the case anymore. Nobody could beat the gauntlet anymore. I think the top 5 players are... They're one of 2 things. I'd have to go check. They're either so insanely good that it just wouldn't make sense. There wouldn't be, you know, somebody who could for sure beat them. Or... because players ran up so many games and they're like out of the 1 scene, it would be too easy. It'd be one of the 2. I can't remember. I checked to go see. I think it might have been too easy actually, because a lot of people run up a ton of games in the past, so it might just be like the same 5, but Sharp and Gino are out of the game. I don't know. Chronic could still hold it down. Daniel could still hold it down. Chronic bumped away. Very low scoring game considering the way these guys have been playing previously. AJ, though, this long shot might be able to work because Chronic doesn't have the boost. Are you going to do that most 1v1 wins in a certain amount of time? I think you might be thinking of the King of the Hills that I did, where it's all best of 1s. If you win, you stay, and it was just about getting the most wins. Chronic trying to pre-jump what he thought might be a dribble from AJ. Chronic down to minute 30 left to go. Game much more stagnant, but he's able to get a cheeky backflip goal as AJ looks to dodge the demo and then starts his dribble. Chronic just kind of hides behind the ball that whole time. I think that's why he's able to get away with it. AJ was kind of expecting him to roll past and never really saw him. AJ now from his back corner. Chronic expecting to be able to take the ball away as it reaches the ground. And that is still the case, but he couldn't get that back corner boost. AJ quicker on his wall dashes, I think, to get back to the ball. Obviously, he had the boost advantage too, but I feel like the dashes were probably the more helpful bit of it. Chronic out to the midfield. We talked so much about how effective he is from this position, but this is not the kind of setup that he normally likes to do it with. The ball traveling back towards his own half as he tried to set it up. Chronic, really strong first touch. AJ, though, not going to be able to take it away from him. AJ, big miss. Chronic, can he convert on this? Side flip, he does. We got to go back and see just how close AJ was. Chronic felt like AJ had moved too far upfield and that he could just punish him for it. He was right. AJ just a couple pixels off, being able to direct that off the net. Yeah, it is 3-3 at 33 seconds. AJ in a low-scoring game. Those kickoff goals hurt even more. Chronic throwing the nice one. Just trying to push the ball to the right, and it's a wave dash kickoff for AJ. Something tells me Chronic's nice one is mostly just a comment on how unfortunate that there's a kickoff goal. I'm not sure he's necessarily saying that that was an expert kickoff for AJ, although it was very nice. Chronic into the air. Not allowed to air dribble. AJ does stop this. Chronic forces it in. AJ has been air dribble bumped many times this game. He's not about to try and get air dribble bumped again, so he goes up early. He thought that was his backboard, and he just flopped into the net. So now, 4-4. Which Chronic just says, what? I think it's pretty clear, Chronic. AJ thought he was landing on his back wall, not the net. Chronic needs a goal to force game 5. AJ might be able to stop it here on 0 seconds. He plays keep away, uses a ton of boost to keep the ball up. He was going to have a really hard time. No way! Chronic! He scores on 0 seconds. AJ throws the nah. How does it happen? AJ bumps into Chronic to essentially own goal it as well. Oh my goodness. I did not have that in the script. These guys went off script for sure. Oh, Chronic forcing the game 5 in spectacular fashion. Game number 5. AJ and Chronic. My goodness. I cannot believe that ending. But it happened. We're going to have to go back and watch it, I feel like, to fully understand. Because I think Chronic didn't even flip. I think Chronic was like, he might have backflipped right as he shot it. But I don't think he's getting that hit unless AJ bumps him into it and basically shoots it himself. Chronic's going to score first in game 5. AJ's throwing a what a save because he knows that he just handed the ball over. Maybe he was trying to get a softer first touch. Looked like maybe he was going for the underside of his car. Looked to control it a bit more, but because he got a bit of strength on it, put it out to the midfield where Chronic can easily score. He double jumped? You think Chronic double jumped and then got bumped? We'll check it out after. Yo, Jorby, thank you for the raid, man. If you guys don't know, Jorby is doing a preview of every player playing in the wild card. If you watch my YouTube, maybe, where we check out replays and go over, you know, how a player's playing a little bit, I would say it's probably like that. I've only seen a few minutes of Jorby doing it, but a fun series, I imagine. Make sure to check him out. AJ up into the air. Just drops the ball right back down with his reset, though, when he sees Chronic free jump. Chronic to the ceiling. AJ floating behind it. Maybe he convinces him not to shoot. AJ able to get the follow-up save. We do have another show match after this. The winner of this game playing, apparently, Jack. AJ faking the wave dash shot. Chronic doesn't move. Looked like he was trying to threaten the wave dash shot top left, which Chronic wasn't around for. He stays patient, recognizes AJ's playing the safer option. AJ trying to go for the reset 50 that I think you'll see a lot of ones players doing now, where around the goal, they rotate their car, not only to get their wheels on it to kill the 50, which is a good way to kind of kill the momentum, really stick to it a little bit, but also to get a reset. You can double up 50 in the ball and getting your flip back in order to use it to convert a goal, but AJ actually did not get his reset on that 50 he attempted, and Chronic ends up running away with a goal. AJ, good outplay, but he could not force the ball back in. Chronic, what a save! What just happened there? He recovered and somehow tapped the ball perfectly in front of himself. Now he has a demo on AJ. AJ should be able to respond and have a chance at saving it. Chronic tries to drop it near post and does. Chronic had such a ridiculous way of winning the previous game. Oftentimes that can just give you, the momentum necessary to win out in a close series. You could tell Feer wants Chronic to win, bro. Everyone hates on AJ. Wait, what? I don't think that's true. Listen, the people a long time ago, when Daniel would play a bunch, I'll admit, sometimes I let a little bit of bias sneak through despite my best efforts. But I don't think any of that happening today. Chronic just had the most memeable win in the previous game. AJ not letting it get out of hand here with a flick for a second goal. I would say that AJ and Chronic together both are players who have played on my stream a long time. There's a good chance if they were playing somebody else, I'd be fighting against some bias, but I'd say I'm biased towards both these guys. AJ, ground pinch on the board. AJ bumped away from the 50. Quick recovery, though, as he tries to capitalize and punish Chronic, but I think he rushed it just a little bit. Made it hard for him to control as he brought the ball to the ground and ultimately made it possible for Chronic to extend it even more. He has a ton of time. AJ, honestly, even with a minute left, doesn't really need to rush just yet. Definitely didn't before he just let Chronic through. Now we have that wall to air dribble we talked so much about. Chronic decides to pre-jump it and go high. AJ wanted the ground bounce shot to go top shelf, which actually would have been a really creative way to convert there based on the way Chronic was defending, but sent it too high. Chronic now touchdown to the ground before the big clear, 30 seconds, and now AJ does need to rush. He didn't need to rush before. The clock winding down. Gonna force this into the side wall. Chronic is not going to be in a good position, so there's a really strong chance for an AJ goal, and it does happen. You know, I think Chronic might have been able to recover faster. Oh, so awkward. Yeah, I think if he half flips immediately, though, he has a better chance. He got undercut by AJ. Now, AJ needs a kickoff win. Chronic goes wave dash kickoff and delay to ice out the game, most likely. AJ just took a fully standard kickoff. Chronic one step ahead. Another delayed kickoff from Chronic. This time, much better result for AJ. Doesn't really have time to float in the air and take the kind of dribble that he normally would. I feel like his normal type of air dribble takes almost all that time. He needed to score it right away to have a chance on the next kickoff. So it's going to be GG's. Chronic wins it in Game 5. Stole it away.